Today we're going to be playing some Ygra Sack. This is a Golgari sacrifice deck built around the new card Ygra Eater of All. It's a 5 cost 6/6, no downsides, very big creature for just 5 mana. Has ward, sack a food, so your opponent, in order to kill it, they have to sacrifice a food, which is extremely difficult. Other creatures you are food artifacts in addition to their other types, and have 2 tap sacrifice this permanent you gain 3 life. So all creatures become food, and your opponent can sack a creature or a food token essentially to get rid of the ward ability. And your opponent can also gain a bunch of life by sacking their creatures later in the game if they need to. But what it also does mainly is that it turns your creatures into food. And this is a kind of like a 2.5 card combo with Ygra putting the food ability on all creatures. It puts them on Cauldron Familiar. And if you have one Cauldron Familiar in play and one in the graveyard, and a Ygra in play, you can sack a cat to bring a cat back, and you can do that infinitely. Now, I think in order to start this, you need one of the cats to be in the graveyard and one to be in play, or another. There's a couple of different micro combos that I'm sure that we'll find as we play. I am not intimately familiar with this archetype. This is my first time playing it, but Ygra being a new card seems really sweet. This list is pulled from the 5.0 dumps from yesterday, and I am excited to play it. While it is a Ygra Eater of All deck, it's also just a normal like food sacrifice deck that we've seen in the past. Gilded Goose, Deadly Dispute, these are things that can generate or pay off some of those token generators. We have Fatal Push that's easy to turn on with Revolt. We got Witch's Oven with Cauldron Familiar to slowly drain our opponent of their life total. A couple other new cards that I want to talk about. First up is Scavenger's Talent. So this one's really powerful for being so cheap. But for 1 black, you get an enchantment, and it's a class. And it says whenever one or more creatures you control die, you get a food token, and it only triggers once each turn. But it triggers once on your turn and once on their turn. For black and 1, you get level 2, and this says whenever you sack a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. And so if you already have a Ygra in play, right, or a Ygra in hand, and you're trying to get to the point where you can have 2 cats, you can start milling yourself with the Scavenger's Talent in order to find your 2 cats to actually combo off. And then lastly, level 3, for 3 mana, it says at the beginning of your incept, you may sack 3 other non-land permanents. If you do, you can return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. And you can do that with Ygra and then just kill your opponent. And you basically just use Scavenger's Talent to find all 3 pieces of the combo by like sacrificing food and other creatures and stuff. And that's kind of the gist. Maybe we should be playing 4 Scavenger's Talent in the main deck, but we have 3 main and 1 in the board. The more we play with it, the more I think we'll like it, and we'll probably end up playing through only 3 Trail of Crumbs. Trail of Crumbs, while a very powerful card, is often very expensive in terms of the mana it needs to be used every single turn. And while it does create a food when it comes in, after that, it's basically just an engine to draw cards as opposed to an engine to make permanents. And so I think we just want to put more emphasis on Scavenger's Talent in the future. We're also playing 4 copies of Thornvault Forager. This is a 2-cost mana creature. It's not really that similar to Gilded Goose, even though it kind of plays in a similar fashion. You can sack the food token, or you can forage to make an extra mana on it, but it just taps for green naturally. For 4 mana, you can tap it and search your library for a squirrel. Normally, we're getting another copy of this, or we're going to get Vine Reap Mentor. And this is just an extra ability. But the primary ability of this is just going to be tap, forage, make 2 mana. And it's going to allow us to accelerate easily into Ygra. We're going to be able to just basically play our whole hand every turn, even if we're drawing extra cards off of Trail Crumbs and the like. Vinery Mentor is pretty sweet. It's a squirrel. Black-green for 3/2. Very good stats in order to block, trade, whatever. D Mills coming in with a 58 months. Yeah, thank you so much for the resub, homie. Appreciate you. That's a long time. Coming in on 5 years. Vinery Mentor, 2 costs 3/2. When it comes in or dies, you get a food token. And this is basically just more cannon fodder for Deadly Dispute. It is quite good against the creature-based decks in the format because it can block and make 2 foods, which is nice. Have I tried Cash Grab? No, this is actually my first time playing this archetype in quite some time, and my first time playing with Ygra at all. So we'll try to learn some stuff as we play, and then I'll offer my suggestions after the league. The land base, we have two Boseiju and a Castle Lockthwain and a Takanuma as our specialty lands. Everything else is dual land. I'm not certain that we need this many black sources. You know, we're playing Gilded Goose, so I think leaning a little bit heavier on green makes some sense. But Boseiju adds some raw green sources, and Darkboard Pathway, you know, we're going to stick it on one or the other. And I think just most of the time it's going to be on green because we have so many black sources already with 4 swamps and yada yada. Sideboard, 2 Damping Sphere for Lotus Field and various combo matchups. 4 Pick Your Poison for the big bad vampire Vein Ripper. 4 Duress. Duress over Thoughtseize is interesting. With so much life gain, I think Thoughtseize is probably better. But not having a discard affect main deck seems weird to me. Not because I think it's bad, but it's just abnormal. Even like Rakdos Sack would play Thoughtseize and Fatal Push, mostly because it gives you just extremely cheap disruption for any matchup. Choosing Dress in the sideboard instead of Thoughtseize is certainly a choice from the 5-0 list, and I'm curious what their thoughts will be on that. But we'll see how good we like or dislike Duress after the league. And then we have one more Scavenger's Talent to round up to 4. And then lastly, Knight of Dust Shadow. This is for Amalia to prevent life gain. Once you have this in play, it's very difficult for them to win without removing it. This is Ygra Sack. Let's play a league. All right, I'm going to keep this hand because we have the Fatal Push. That's basically the only reason why. The second Ygra is weak. Fatal Push is good, though. Here's the Cauldron Familiar. Yeah, Cash Grab, it might be good. I've never played it. If we had the Malevolent Rumble that they have in Modern, I think that one is significantly better. But obviously, we're not playing that format. So, opponent leads with their Fiend's Tower, which means my Fatal Push is probably dead or weak, which is awkward. So this hand not shaping up to be too good in this matchup, but we have a lot of ways to mitigate, make our deck better for the matchup. And we can still win. I mean, we are a combo deck. All right, let's play the Goose. I'm going to play Dark Boar on green. Back. And then if they play like a temporary lockdown or something, what we can do is we can just push our Cauldron Familiar. Put it into the graveyard. Rumble ramping into Ygra would be nuts. Yeah, I mean, I think Rumble is just an awesome card. Vanishing Verse on this. So it's Exile. So I will go ahead and push this. Because it's actually good for it to be in the graveyard. And now we can play Ygra, and they can't kill it unless they put a food into or a creature into play. Alright, so now the Goose is food as well. And so we can sack Goose to bring back Cauldron Familiar. But we need another Cauldron Familiar to be able to full combo. Shalafi, thanks for the follow. You also like Insidious Roots and Woestrider in this deck? I mean, I think at that point it's just a different deck, but you know. They just conceded. Okay, so we definitely want 4 Duress. And we definitely want Fatal Push out. I think I like the Scavenger's Talent. Just more permanence to kind of mess with them. I don't hate Pick Your Poison. They probably have Leyline Bindings and maybe a temporary lockdown after sideboard. I think I'll bring in 3, or at least try to. We got 4 cards that we can cut. Because they're probably going to have a bunch of sweepers and things that... this little man. Ygra, stop hitting enter! Alright. I think we can probably cut Vinery Mentor. I think the strength of Vinery Mentor is going to be in matchups where he can block. And I don't think we're gonna win by just like straight attacking. We're gonna be winning by like chip damaging them. And I think the Forager, I think, is just a little expensive. So we'll just cut the Fatal Pushes. We'll bring in some Duress and have some answers to enchantments and the big flyers, Nimizits, and such. Forager seems weak. Yeah, I think that the 3/2 is slightly worse, though. I like that I can go get another squirrel. I think that's cool. I'll keep this hand. We'll go turn 1 Goose, turn 2 Trail of Crumbs activate, probably. I'm going to play... I might need the Boseiju later as a disenchant. And I have so much green in my hand that I think just going to turn 1 Goose off of the Dark Board makes sense. Holding the Boseiju for later. I'll shove it up your beanstalk. Alright, that's a good draw. Alright, so let's go pick your poison on... Actually, we can just do that later, right? We don't have to do that next turn. I kind of want to hit land drops, so let's Trail of Crumbs and then plan to use it during our opponent's end step. Or in response to whatever it kills Goose. Rest in peace? Okay. We have plenty of ways to do disenchanting things. Stick the oven. I still want to draw land, so let's just go ahead and eat this food looking for land. Alright, let's go. Your opponent sacks an enchantment. And they'll probably sack Beanstalk, keep Rest in Peace, but if they don't, like, I need to save the Boseiju for the Rest in Peace, probably. Go play Scavenger's Talent. That way, if our Goose dies, we just have a food for the Trail Crumbs. First game in... Or first match in the new Pioneer format. Play against Rest in Peace with my new Ygra deck. Ancient Cornucopia. Vanishing Verse on the talent. That's okay. I also don't really care about them gaining life, so this is basically just a mana rock. I really just wanted to hit some lands off of my Trail of Crumbs. Because I really don't want to have to play this Boseiju. So we're going to go ahead and Gild a Goose. And I'm going to do this again with the Trail. Found the land. Nice. And now I'm going to play another talent. And I'm going to play an Oven. And now if they go to kill either of our geese, we can sack it to make a food off of this and a food off of this. And that gives us just a lot of food for Trail Crumbs. Another Beanstalk. Okay. I guess we will just want to play all 4 Pick Your Poison since they have Cornucopia, Beanstalk, and Rest in Peace after board. Maybe want extra disenchant type things. Oh, right. Geese won't die because of Rip, so this doesn't really work. Good call. But I guess I still get to make 1 food if they go to kill a Goose. This deck is good. And then my sideboard and Culling Ritual. Yeah. I've played decks like this in the past and got hit with Culling Ritual out of Niv sideboards, and it always is nightmarish. So they milled me. So they hit 1 Ygra. Alright, so let's go... Let's start with a Duress, so I can maybe plan the rest of my turn out a bit better. Decay and Reborn. Okay, so Reborn doesn't work, right? Or no, which one is this? Okay, never mind. It does work. Alright, I'm gonna go Goose, make a food. And I'm going to activate the trail. Still looking for lands. We found Cauldron Familiar. I can sack this oven, or sack this to oven, besage you the rest in peace. But there seems like very little reason to do that. I could just play Cauldron Familiar, so I can maybe start pressuring this. Or just get it into play. Actually, let's just play Oven. Let's just play Oven, and then whenever we go for a Beseiju on the rest in peace, we'll just have 2 Oven, Cauldron Familiar, Scavenger's Talent going. So now they're going to tap out for Big Niv, and we get to see what they reveal. They'll gain some life and draw a card. Only with Thoughtseize? Yeah, exactly. This is -1 for Duress out of the sideboard. -1. When you're playtesting, it's often important to note when one card would be better versus another card. Ha! So they got Bring to Light and Ashiok. Okay, so I think I will sack a Goose. 3, 4. I think I will sack a Goose. Lightline Binding. Let's see what they target. It's probably the Scavengers again. Okay. So I think I will trade Goose for a random card off the top. Ygra? Okay, so if we... They have Brain Delight, and they have Ashiok, so nothing I do is very safe at the moment. We could maybe play Thornvault Forger, Cauldron Familiar. Paying 2 to blow up the Rest in Peace right now just seems weak. The problem is that Bring to Light is just going to go get something extremely scary. And so it's possible that I need to just try to set up for Ygra kill. And we do that by going like Scavenger's Talent into Beseiju. I really just need to draw like one more land this game off of my 6 Trail Crumbs activations so that I could actually play multiple spells in a turn. Luckily they have a deal 3 to each creature. Yeah. I don't really care that much about my geese dying since I have ovens to sack to them. Just like a scale. I also kind of want to save the talent, so maybe I just Cauldron Familiar. Let's just Cauldron Familiar and say go. So now if they go for some deal 3 or whatever, we can go blow up the Rest in Peace in response, sack some stuff, make some food, and then maybe try to get Scavenger's Talent, Ygra into play. Let's see what they bring to life for it, because it might just be like Valky or something. Alright, they have 4 cards in hand. We know one of them is the second Ashiok and one of them is Bring to Light. So they play Fable here. So we might actually just... I don't know if we'll be able to kill them, but we're definitely going to make them hurt. Yeah, what's up, Eddie? I will take some damage. All right, so we'll go EOT Beseju on Rest in Peace. All right, so now during the instep, we'll go ahead and sack Cauldron Familiar twice, bring it back twice. We thought about Innkeeper, that way we can ramp through Amalia combo. I don't know what that means. Prosperous Innkeeper is not a card that I would want in this deck. I don't think it's... I mean, it's obviously an insane card, but it's way more better, or it's way stronger in like a Court of Calling deck. What's up, Taylor? Chat, make sure to check out our sponsors. I like doing this when our opponent's taking a long time. Paradise Games and Gifts is a game store out of Fairfax, Virginia, formerly known as Games and Comics Paradise. They specialize in trading card games. You can check out their website, gcparadise.com. Pick up singles for your next event. Make sure also check out Apex Gaming. Apex Gaming is a game store out of Caldwell, Ohio, featuring the Apex series, a tournament series that Ross Mayhem and myself do commentary over for them. We have an event coming up on August the 16th weekend. It's about 9 days from today. You can check more information from them at apexgaming.gg. You can also follow them on Twitch at twitch.tv/apexgaming. Follow them on Twitter, apexgamingmtg. We're also sponsored by Moxfield. Moxfield is a great website for building and sharing deck lists with your friends. If you are interested in the decks we play on stream, you can follow me on Moxfield, just !deck or deck list in chat. We'll take you to our page. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can check the link in the video description. Playing Modern for some reason? Well, it's because it's RCQ season, homie. Well, Scravagy, you're thinking about Magic all wrong, man. Not every deck is meant to beat every other deck. And if they're a combo deck and you're a combo deck, they're faster than you, then you need to attack them in a different way. You don't need to try to be faster than them necessarily. I think worrying too much about how the deck combos against Amalia is a huge mistake. You've been playing Nadu? Well, that's probably because why you're not having fun. Even if you're winning, you're probably not having fun. So we know 2 cards in their hand. They have a Bring to Light and they have an Ashiok. So their last card might be scary. Our opponent lost connection to the game. But they've been sitting there kind of AFK for about 2-3 minutes. So I'm not really sure if they're dead or not. But we're just going to sit here and wait and see what happens. Sometimes turn 3 wins are fun. Yeah. You do the 1/1 generator chain. Fun. Universe, thanks for the follow. Jan Star, thanks for the follow. Appreciate y'all. All right. They rejoined the game. And they got a planes. Let's see if they have anything on the end step. All right. We will sack cats. Alphabet Sage, you took out their internet? Yeah, no kidding. All right, so I'm going to leave this one in the graveyard and keep the food token so we can draw a land. All right, so we can start by going like food token, trail crumbs. We can't... We can play a Ygra, actually. But it doesn't really do that much at the moment. So the way we have to do it though is we have to float him in off the witch's off of the goose, and then sack it to Witch's Oven, and then sack the other one. Or, sorry, we have to lose a goose to play a Ygra. But we also have to lose all of our food tokens. And I'm not sure that that's better than just using Gilded Goose for another turn or two. So we'll do that. And then once we get Scavenger's Talent into play, we're going to play probably Talent Forger this turn and then maybe go for Ygra next turn. Finally, some lands. Alright, so let's go Scavenger's Talent. And then... Alright. We're going to get some more mana down. We're at 14, so we're not really under threat of dying this turn. If they go for an Ashiok Mill, we can sack a goose to make a food, and then sack the food to bring Cauldron Familiar back. What I'm thinking about right now. So Fable Chapter 2, they discard the Ashiok since they already have one. My opponent's being so nice. I love it. Chad, imagine what this game would look like if I had not Trail Crumbs every turn. Like, every turn. So they're going to go destroy this goose and the scavengers. So I guess we just sack this goose. And we'll get a food off of the Scavenger's Talent, excuse me. And then once we bring back the Cauldron Familiar, we can activate the Trail Crumbs. The Molten Collapse, I think, just has to happen. We can't really respond to it in a way that matters, because we only can make one food off of the first chapter. But they had an answer to all three of the Scavenger's Talents I drew, which is a bummer. Alright, we'll take the hit from the Niv and the Goblin Shaman. And then we'll see what they want to follow it up with. And I guess there's not a great chance that I kill them next turn, but I can get Ygra down next turn, and I think we can keep ourselves from dying in a couple different ways. But obviously this Bring to Light can be very scary, so I'm very curious what they go get. If it is something like destroy all artifacts, enchantments, get a green, whatever it's called, Culling Ritual. If it is Culling Ritual, then we can't possibly win. And I don't know. I haven't played against anything but Phoenix, Vampires, basically those two decks in like a week. Oh, and Amalia. Phoenix, Vampires, Amalia is like the literal only three decks I've played against in a week. Cards like Culling Ritual are just like natural foils to archetypes like ours. And worrying too much about that type of thing is just like not beneficial. Like you just can't beat it anyway. Alright. We are up a game though. And I don't think that we're dead, which is kind of wild. See what they target with this. They can exile artifact or creature. So they're going to shock with Stomping Ground. They have Cornucopia and land. A second Rest in Peace? Are you kidding me, dude? Two Rest in Peace. Ashiok. Bummer. Alright, well, hopefully we'll just do like a quick combo kill in game 3. I'll bring in the other pick your poison as well. And now if they go to exile something, we'll just sack it. But I don't think we can beat another rest in peace. Oh, I guess with the rest in peace on the stack, we should have gone for another Witch's Oven. Alright, I'm just going to concede. Don't have enough going on. Ygra is no match for what they got going on over there. Alright, another pick your poison comes in for sure. And I honestly think... What should I cut? Is it just a Ygra? It seems very expensive. Drawing 2 of them seems like not very good. Tandy I built, is it transmog in paper? As some individual has been putting up consistent 5-0s with online, and I'm excited to play it in paper after being on Vamps for so long. Time to have a little fun. Oh, yeah. I think there's going to be some Pioneer shakeups on the 26 as well. I think that they're just planning to do like a really big shakeup. I'm excited about it. All right, I'm going to actually bring in these 3 Mentors back over Forager. Mana-producing creatures in this matchup are kind of weak, I think. But the Vine Root Mentor can just like leave some food around for us. And I think I'm going to trim 1 Ygra. It's pretty expensive, and unless we're combo killing the turn we cast it, it's not very good. Like, they can just exile it in 1,000 different ways. Maybe that's bad, though. Actually, yeah, we'll just keep all the Ygras because it's... I don't want to cut combo pieces until I know that we can get away with it. Yeah. How was your RCQ season special effects? Did you win one? Are you going to go to Washington, D.C.? I'm sorry that you got beat by an outsider Pro Tour champion. I would more so blame the system for that than Beardsley, though, because my man won a Pro Tour last year and has to play RCQs, so... Awkward. Well, we had basically the best draw possible with Cauldron Familiar. Sylvan Carotid, that's fine. At least it's not Rest in Peace. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and just put this into the graveyard. We'll say go. And now we just basically get to do Cauldron Familiar tricks for the rest of the game until they play Rest in Peace or something. If they play some sort of enchantment, we have an answer to it now with Pick Your Poison, which is sick. Because we have Trail Crumbs in high numbers, I think it might actually behoove us to play... Oh, what's this going to target? Probably Trail Crumbs, would be my guess. They could go after Talent, though. Oh, they go after the Oven. That's fine. My guess is that when we bring back Cauldron Familiar, they're also going to try to exile it. Okay. Alright, so we miss on the Trail Crumbs, unfortunately. So whenever I sack a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. Alright, so we can do basically all the stuff we want to do this turn. So let's go with Duress to start. And maybe take a Bring to Light or something. Something that can hit one of our permanents. So Bring to Light, Ashok, Pillage the Bog. We'll take Bring to Light for sure. Target player sacks an enchantment. We probably should have activated this. Alright, we'll say go. And I'm going to plan on using the Trail Crumbs twice. And then we can, after we do that, so they're going to maybe Pillage the Bog, but they also might go for Ashiok here. Their hand was Pillage the Bog, Bring to Light, Ashiok. Is that right? Hydroland. Yeah, no need to respond to this. Oh, I don't know side type. I hope not. If I draw a Deadly Dispute, then I guess then we can maybe confirm that it does do that. That's only if you miss, though? You get your duress? Yeah, I guess so. I will sack. So here, I'll show y'all a cool trick here. I'm going to basically sack 2 food to the Cauldron Familiar so that I get 2 Trail Crumbs. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So first off, you have to take full control mode because you need to respond to your own thing. You hold control and then you click your Cauldron Familiar and you click a food. And what that's going to do is it's going to put all of this on the stack. And then we're just going to do it one more time while still holding control. And now once we've done that, then we get 2 Trail Crumbs triggers, and then we can just pay for both of them. Alright, so there was no Deadly Dispute in the top, so I don't know if the bug is fixed or not. I don't think I need a second Trail Crumb, so we'll take a second Cauldron Familiar in case something happens to the first one. Scavenger's Talent or Swamp? I kind of don't mind another Scavenger's Talent just to go food crazy. I also just have plenty of mana sources here, I think. 4 is a lot. Alright, so we can Scavenger's Talent for level 2. We can Gildagoose. Actually, and I might actually just be able to deck my opponent. Not this turn, but like very soon. And I'm just going to mill them. I think I might be able to mill them out. We can literally just sack all of our food, and each food is just like 2 cards per food. And we can sack them all at the same time. Ashiok Dream Render, that's fine. Alright, so they target me. So I definitely want to bring back 1 Cauldron Familiar, and I don't think I'm ready to sack all my food yet to mill them, but I will mill them with the first one. But I don't think it's best to, I don't know. This does leave it vulnerable to something that exiles, but that's another reason why we took another Familiar. I'll see what they mill over. Let's see. Deadly Disputes, Pick Your Poison, Duress, something like that. So normally I would want to be like milling myself, but I already have 2 Cauldron Familiars, and I don't have the Ygra yet, and because of that, can I tell which one's on what? Where does it show you what level they're on? I'm going to hold on to this Cauldron Familiar, but we'll play another Scavenger's Talent. But I think at this point where our plan is to just deck them, so... And we can't do it next turn, but we might be able to do it the turn after with the 3rd Scavengers. We do want to do this on our own turn because the food thing triggers on everyone's upkeep. Or it's on every turn. So we want to do once on ours and once on theirs for the food generation. All right, your go. And now with the 10 foods in play, we can mill them for 40 just with what's in play, maybe more. And then once we activate the 3rd talent, Beanstalk's fine. There's an extra color on the card. Oh, I see it. The yellow. So we got 2 yellow and 1. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so we'll bring back a food. And I will pay the mana. We'll get the forests. And if we draw Deadly Dispute, I don't like. I'm not sure exactly what the bug is on Trail Crumbs or if we're encountering it. But I did put a dress on bottom and then drew a dress. But there was a Deadly Dispute milled, but was it 4th down? No. All right, so we will go ahead and sack a food just to use Trail Crumbs. We're just milling them out. Classic mill deck. This is pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Scavenger's Talent seems excellent. All right, and then Ygra. Ygra should be lethal, but I want to kill them without using Ygra. Chat. Chat, what do you think? Should I just mill them out? I kind of just want to mill them out for the lulz. Play Ygra the mill them out. I mean, if we do that, then that's like, why would I kill them 2 different ways instead of 1 way? So let's go, and then we'll do save targets. Can I? Turn off auto yields. And then we'll go save targets. Always yield. Always yield. I haven't counted, but I feel like this is lethal. Opener looks okay. We'll keep. We're on the play, and we have Goose Push and another mana ramper. We can maybe use Takenuma to get something back. The second Beseiju is a little wonky, but we can play one of as a land. I do love that I just milled out the 80 card Yorion deck with my 1 mana enchanties. What turn was that? That wasn't even that late in the game, was it? Alright, Goose down. Playing against Rakdos. Probably vampires, but could just be normal Rakdos. I'm just going to play a Beseiju and a Forger. Trying to hold on to the Takenuma for as long as possible. I'll likely play it next turn if I don't draw another land to play. Unfortunately, we are unable to use this for mana for itself to be able to search for Squirrel. Sell it. Okay. Alright, so let's go this, say go. And then we can just end the turn Takenuma. If they do something we want to push, we can push and Takenuma. We can also Beseiju push if they go for like Mutavault activation or something. Alright, no Sorin minus. That's great news. Alright, there's no reason to push this, so we're just going to have this for green and Takenuma. We'll go back Ygra. We can, if they kill this, which I don't think they will. They might, though. Alright, so let's go Was it exile 3 cards? Easy 3 cards. Black. And now we actually have Ygra up, and we actually have protection from removal. There are things of food that they have to sack, but it's a ward ability similar to Vein Ripper. And so if I push this, then wow, this card seems really strong actually. I thought I was gonna have to sack the food, and then the moment I didn't have to sack the food, I was extremely happy. Okay, so Shielder of the Apocalypse is fine. Okay, we have a couple different options here. We can push the Zealots so that we can start getting in damage, and I don't mind that, because then we can just push the Shield Red. Alright, so now we go upkeep, crack this, push this, and this gets bigger as well, so we're going to be hitting for massive damage here. And like Vein Ripper, they have to sack something to be able to interact with it. And it has to be mutable at this point. So we can forge 3 to play Vine Root Mentor. I think that's better than attacking with it. And so now they basically just need a big sweeper, and we have their Mutavault can get us, but then they're still facing down 5 power in play. We can also Deadly Dispute this food token later. They can block this maybe for a turn or 2, but it's very difficult. Making some focaccia pizza tonight? Nice. Nice. Alright, so let's go Deadly Dispute, sack this food token, we'll grow the Ygra. Alright, this is awesome. So we'll go Oven, Familiar, and the Ygra is basically force chump / force kill every turn. And the drain from Cauldron Witch's Oven should be very difficult for them to beat. We will offer trades across. Now, if they have a removal spell for this, they can go block here, removal this, sack this, take 2. Looks like they're just moving to chumps, which is great. This popped off very nicely. I agree. Okay, so they showed me the 2 mana vampire, so they're definitely Vein Rippering me. I do think, while Thornvault Forger was great there, I think that in general, mana creatures are not that good against Rakdos, but we just don't have that many creatures in general against them, and so I kind of just don't want to sideboard very much. Nothing in our sideboard other than Pick Your Poison is very good, and I don't even think Pick Your Poison is very good. It only stops the early Vein Rippers, and Vein Ripper is extremely good against our deck, so I do think we want these. And then the question is, do we just cut the Forgers? And I think the answer is yes. We just insulate ourselves from Fatal Push as much as we can. And I do think Fatal Push is good. I don't think Dress is very good. I don't mind the Scavenger's Talent. But I also don't know if it should probably just be in the main deck. But I don't know. I think Trail Crumbs is excellent in the matchup. I think Deadly Dispute could be a little hard if they're just like attacking our hand and our board with disenchant type things. If they have like Hidetsugu's Consumes All or whatever, I think cards like Deadly Dispute just get a lot worse when your opponent's constricting your resources a lot. And is very good. You think there's a world where you want Troll King? I honestly have no clue, but it is somewhat free in a lot of situations, and you can mill over it if you play 4. I think that there is a build of a deck like this, but I don't think that this deck can just fit 4 Feasting Troll King. I'm going to play Oven over either creature. Without playing Thoughtseize on one, I think it's just a decent likelihood that they have Fatal Push. And I'd rather not play Goose. Familiar is okay there, but I just want to get the Oven down. And now I can play Troll Crumbs to protect it from discard. And I think that that's the move. We are under some pressure with Harvester, but overall I'm very comfortable with our position here. I can change in a hurry, though. Turn 3 Vein Ripper is extremely bad for us, and we don't have an answer to it just yet. And Trail Crumbs doesn't find good answers either. It's possible we need more things that are like Edict effects to find off of Trail Crumbs, but I don't know. Maybe permanents that just do the things like Duress or Fatal Push do. Alright, they're main phasing Blood Token Pop on Vein Ripper, which means that their hand is probably not very good. Alright, so we'll go Familiar. I think I am going to Goose over Oven because we can't really utilize the Oven that well, and I kind of want to get the mana down in case they don't have Sweeper or don't have removal for it. But now we just have infinite Cat Oven blocks, and we have Trail Crumbs activations as well on deck. But we want to do that on our end step when we can, when we're not, we don't want to leave cards in our hand for their Thoughtseize, especially if it's like Ygra. Silly question. Can we shove Vampire Shell into this deck? It's not a silly question. I think the 8-card Vampire Shell needs Mutavault, and I don't think this deck can play Mutavault, but I could be wrong. Alright, so let's just go block. Pretty easy block, I think. There's very few ways where we get punished. And I also just don't have to Cauldron Familiar if I don't want to protect myself from some sort of Graveyard Exile effect, but like Clean to Dust or something stupid. It's just not common for them to be playing that type of thing, and I want to make sure I animate my Trail Crumbs. And if they do have something for it, we have multiple food that we can sack to bring it back. Take the Takinuma. Alright, so there's a Fatal Push on top. We'll see if it goes to the bottom of my deck. We'll see if I draw Fatal Push. Alright, we drew Pick Your Poison, so now I feel very safe. Now I don't think that they have a real avenue to... unless they have some Haymaker, Hidetsugu Second Ride. I think that the game is basically over. Alright, I'm going to attack with a Cauldron Familiar and see what they do. If they animate the Mutavault, I think that's fine for me. I can just sack. So this is basically just a free bluff attack. I'm going to Oven, and instead of doing anything now, I'm going to say go. And then we're just going to plan on doing a bunch of Trail Crumb stuff on their end step. And we can Takenuma at some point if we want to, but without our opponent putting any pressure on me, I don't feel the need to main phase many things. And I want to basically use all my mana every turn, and I already have my mana completely used this turn from Trail Crumbs. I will prevent damage, though, and I will go ahead and sack this, bring it back, Trail Crumbs one time, block, sack it again. And this is basically just going to make sure my life total stays very high so I don't get cheesed by some multiple Vein Ripper draw coming up soon here. And we have plenty of ways to use the... Nice. Plenty of ways to use the Trail Crumbs. So we can Trail Crumbs 3 more times on the end step. So we can do Goose, and then we do double Familiar out of the Graveyard trick, and I think that that's worth. 4 cards in hand, honestly have no clue what it could be. Maybe just a bunch of Extinction Event type shit. Alright, so now we're going to go Food Token. And we'll just do it twice here, so that we use all of our mana and get as many Trail Crumbs. And even if our Familiar dies here, we just have so much material to work with that I think we'll probably be able to just find another Cauldron Familiar at some point. And It's just like not that big a deal. They don't push the goose, that's fine. Blot out. Alright, that's fine. Walking out. Alright, troll crumbs. Now we take Ygra. We could take Scavenger's Talent. We are kind of out of stuff to do, but I think we just cast Ygra. Huge. Maybe we just play Talent now. Troll crumbs can help us. Let's just play Ygra. Let's just play a big thing and see what they do. They do have to sack a creature to deal with it, which I really like. Scavenger's Talent and Troll Crumbs both can give us some food. We can sack this to get 2 food if they go for a kill spell on it, but we want to wait till after. We want to wait till after they sack so that they've paid the ward cost. Ygra makes pick your poison to remove for Harvester. That's cool. I didn't even think about that. So this looks like Ripper time. That's fine. We got the answer. We have the answer, and there's a chance we just kill them because we can Scavenger's Talent as well. All right, so let's go pick your poison, sack a creature with flying. We will get drained for a little. All right, so now we go, what do we do? Maybe I should have attacked and let them trade. Since we drew another one. I guess we'll just attack. See if they just chump block. Love Ygra so much. Feels like if Soren and Walker bite the dust on 26, you'll see it a lot more. Yeah, I mean, you might just see it a lot more if it's this good against Rakdos. It feels good against Rakdos. All right, we're just going to empty our hand. Now we're on chapter 2 of Scavenger's Talent. So whenever I sack a permanent, they mill 2, and whenever one or more creatures I control die, I create a food. If I sack this to Oven, I get 3 food, which I can then use later for cool stuff. Extinction event. So we'll just... I can sack this for 3 food, but then they'll just name Odd. And I kind of want to kill this. So, and I have another one in hand, so I'll just let this happen. And now if they name... Oh, it's Odd. I'm so stupid. I'm stupid. I thought that, for some reason, I thought that these were the same mana, even Odd. That's my fault. I should have 3 food. I just clicked too quickly, / didn't think through it. This brain fart. Alright, so we're going to take 5. We're down to 12, but we have another Ygra. I should have a lot of food here. That's a bummer. Just a mistake. Looks like it could be a contender. I honestly think that there's something really cool here, and I am very interested to play more. I think, honestly, it might sound weird. I think we might want, like, Stitcher Supplier, you know? If we did, like, Stitcher Supplier and Big Troll, I think that might actually be better than doing the Squirrel stuff. The Squirrel stuff feels like the worst part of the deck. I mean, it looks pretty good here, though. I don't know. So I guess we go Ygra Vine Reap Mentor. I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't think Roots is it, but Maybe. Roots with Cat Oven is cool, but I don't know if it's good. Like, I think that you want to do combo stuff with that card, but I could definitely be wrong. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good here, but like, I would much rather have more ways to find Cat Oven or more ways to just like sacrifice stuff. But the mana squirrel seems cool, but I think a 2 mana producer just has to be Sylvan Carroted in this format. But it did look good in the one game that I casted and used it, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. My board is too big, chat. The board is too big. So at any point I can Witch's Oven this, and I think it counts as sacking of food, so I can pay for trail crumbs. I don't want to do that yet. I'll play second trail crumbs, and what I'm going to do, what does this do for level 3? At the beginning of your incept, you may sack 3 other non-land permanents. Did you return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it? Okay. Alright, so we're going to go... Need a wider monitor? Yeah. Alright, so let's go crack a food, and then we'll activate 2... Let's see, I'll mill myself, and then... I guess there's some chance... I'm going to do for 1. Have I played a land this turn? I don't think so. If I hit a land, there's some chance I just do Scavengers for 3, especially if I mill over something really good with this. Opponent is really in the tank here. I don't even know what about. Probably just reading all my cards. Oh, so we did find a land. And so now do I want to go ahead and just do chapter 3? That way if my Ygra ever dies, I can just bring it back. I think I can just do that later since I can sack it. So let's just pay. And then we can maybe play another trail. Familiar? Perfect. If we hit another Cauldron Familiar off the mill, we didn't. But every time we mill, we get a chance to find another one. So let's just go for the kill. Let's try. I think there's very little reason not to go for the kill here. All right, let's go. Save targets. Auto yield. Have you cracked a bundle of Bloomburrow? Nice. I like that at any point that they kill my Ygra, I can just spend 3 mana and then it'll come back on the incept, and all I have to do is just sack some food. Do I want to pay one of them? I do. Another Scavenger's Talent. Nice. No for this one. Let's auto yield to this. When you sack a permanent. Okay, so now I should go... Oh, I did find another Cauldron Familiar. So now we just killed him. Alright, so now we do... So we're not saving targets anymore. That's fine. And now, since both of the Cauldron Familiars count as food, we just sack a Familiar to bring back Familiar. And now we can, let's do, and save targets, we'll target them, and we'll auto yield. Auto yield. Wow, so there's like a lot of little complicated triggers happening, but really the only thing that matters is that Cauldron Familiar now counts as a food because of Ygra, and we're sacking a Familiar to bring back Familiar. And the way that we did this is by using Scavenger's talent to bring back, or to mill ourselves so that Familiar could be milled over. And while the Ygra's getting enormous or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's all the same. Our opponent is basically just dying to cat oven tricks. Chat, we're doing it! I need more hype in the chat, man. Whenever we do the thing, y'all gotta get wild. Deck is sweet, I agree. When I saw this build, I was extremely excited about it. Alright, opponent said GG's. The pick your poison felt extremely good and necessary. And, like, I really like... Oh, I should not have kept this hand. What am I doing? One mulligan to 6. I got lands and spells, chat. I'm keeping everything. Definitely should have mulligan, though. 33 Culture Familiar triggers with Tandy. Yeah. Thanks for the 33 monthly spark. Appreciate you. All right, go. Overgrown Tomb could be the mirror, but it could also be Amalia. 1 drop. Anyway, bad keep by me. Bad keep by me. Lumar, so probably the mirror. Oh, Deep Cavern Bat, so probably Amalia. See if they take Trail Crumbs or Deadly Dispute. Probably Trail, since it's just something I can cast this turn. Amalia could be a Nightmare matchup, but we do have a bunch of Night of Dusks in there. Unfortunately, we don't have the mana to pay. We definitely just want to draw some sort of creature here, though. Oh, they are in trouble. They kept a no white hand. And we drew Trail of Crumbs. Obviously, Amalia is easy to beat when they don't draw their 3rd land or white sources, or just don't mulligan like we didn't mulligan. Okay, so now we're going to basically Chapter 2 this. And then we're going to do some EOT Deli disputing and try to Ygra combo on our turn. Oh, they finally drew the white. Amalia Benavides, Aguilala. We can also draw Fatal Push here. See if they reveal a Lively Dirge. Basically a 5 mana card unless there's something in the graveyard. 4 mana card otherwise. They kept it on top. Interesting considering they've been missing on land drops. I guess they're just afraid of the Amalia dying. I'm gonna mill myself still. I mostly just want to hit Cauldron Familiar, and we hit 1. So now if we drew Oven. So we can start by sacking Treasure. We mill 2. If we find another Cauldron Familiar, what happens? Anything? I guess we can't kill them this turn. So I guess I go for Deadly Dispute on the Treasure. I guess I kind of want to Deadly Dispute again. Maybe we play Oven. And then we say go. And we can Deadly Dispute again. And if we draw another Deadly Dispute, you can Deadly Dispute again. And basically I'm just going to try to Fatal Push this in response to them comboing if they go for combo. Otherwise, we're just going to EOT Deadly Dispute. Let them hit us for a little bit. And I kind of want to sack Oven. So I might need the mana for Ygra plus stuff. There's a good chance we can kill them next turn if we sack the oven as well. Either Flex Reservoir, that's fine. Alright, if we hit another Cauldron Familiar, we should be good. Alright, so let's go green. Mill ourselves for 2. Green. Mill ourselves for 2. Ygra. We can mentor and get a lot of food activations. And then we can go sack, Vine Reaper, holding priority. We're going to make another food. We're going to mill ourselves. No pay. We get a food. This will grow. Get another food. And now we can familiar again off of 3 foods. Still didn't find it. And do it 2 more times. Still didn't hit it. Well, we got let's see. I think we got one more look. And if we hit it this time, we kill. But if we don't hit it, we hit it. Chow, we did it. Chow, we frickin' did it. Y'all like that? Y'all like that one? This might take a minute. Alright, so we'll go save targets, target you, GG. Alright, they didn't make us do it, thank God. I will also concede to their combo without making them do it. Alright, I don't really want Pick Your Poison. I don't really want Duress. I think oh yeah. Thanks for the 100 biddies, Thunder. Scavenger Talent kind of cracked. I agree. I think it's an excellent card. We should definitely be playing 4. Fatal Push, I think, is good in the matchup. This is a matchup where I think Vine Mentor blocking is kind of weak. It was actually really good there for helping us like full combo because it just gave us a lot of things to eat with Ygra and the Cauldron Familiar. But I think that maybe the mana producers are just the worst card in the deck. These are easily just the worst cards in the deck to me. And so if any of these are bad, I'll cut them. Like if Fatal Push is bad, I'll cut it. You know, if my opponent's like Blue Eye Control, maybe cutting Goose is correct. But I think that this is still just like the worst card. And I do think the Forger is worse than Vine Mentor, to be clear. But I think it's close. And it's possible that the mana creature there is actually just very good because they just don't have that much removal. But I think after sideboard that can change. I'm going to keep because I just have Knight of Dust Shadow as a way to buy myself a lot of time. But I don't think that this hand is particularly strong. 5 land is tough, but Seiju's not very good. Thoughtseize me? Great. Sorry, I don't mean that I'll concede to the combo, but if I... You know what I mean. Like, I will give them the same respect they gave me. If it's a deterministic kill or whatever. Which, I guess it's rarely because it's Reservoir. Alright, so they took my Trellicrums greedily, and now I get to push this and then play Knight of Dust Shadow on 2. Three Bitter Triumph. Interesting. We don't have that much stuff to come back from the graveyard, but something that lets us like turn cards in hand into things on the battlefield is good. And I was thinking like a Seismic Assault card. I think there's like Bear Assault, Seismic Assault, but I think those are only in Modern. Alright, so they can't gain life. This has menace, so it's hard to block. We can also just spend a lot of time buffing it. They play this tapped? Interesting. Ygra's a fine draw. We don't have anything to do, so we'll just pump. They can't block. Deal you 3. Maybe Knight will just solo. Thoughts on a couple creature lands? Entering tapped, I think, is a no-go, but a Mutavault might be good. A Mutavault that you can basically animate and then sack to a Cauldron Familiar when you have Ygra seems really sweet. So maybe a couple Mutavault could be fit into the deck. I feel like we have not very harsh color requirements because of Giganta, and Mutavault's often excellent in Giganta decks. I guess we can't play Grafdigger's Cage, but Grafdigger's Cage is a card that I would like to have in something like this. Alright, we'll attack. See if they block. So we can pump twice. I'm just going to pump once and then play Witch's Oven. And I'm basically just hinged on this Knight, so if they kill this in any way, I'm in trouble. But while this is in play, they can't gain life, which means Amali won't trigger. But anything that... Okay, so now they're going to core. It looks like for 3, probably, to get something to kill Knight of Dusk. Can be Skyclave Apparition. If it's for 2, I don't know what it would be. But Skyclave eating the Knight is very scary. We do get Ygra down. But anything that says gain life or explore starts their combo next turn. Which is one of the reasons why I'm also just like not that big of a fan of Knight of Dust Shadow in sideboards, because they just always have Skyclave. And they have a lot of virtual copies. If I get to untap, the Beseiju can actually destroy the Amali, which is kind of cool. Oh, this is weird. It actually messes up the picture because it adds an extra line of text, so it squishes the picture. That's funny. So tapped land. I'm not immediately dead, so I think we might be able to untap, chat. So they're sacking the Skyclave to gain 3 life because my thing is a food. And that's going to trigger the combo. Okay. GG. I messed up. Playing Ygra just got me killed, but whatever. Alright, so I'm going to try the Thornvolt Forgers just to be faster. I'm going to leave the Knights. I'm going to cut the Vine Mentor and the Trail Crumbs. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to do the full Trail Crumbs thing, so let's try to hard combo a little bit of Disruption. Yeah, I didn't even see the Ygra let him combo. That's funny. Definitely should not have played the Ygra there. Play first. And they have a lot of disruption after sideboard, so I'm guessing that their deck is just going to be much lighter on combo elements in general, but I don't know what that means they're cutting. The goose is loose. Turn 3 Ygra sounds good. I don't think I need to Knight of Dust Shadow yet, so we'll go for maybe turn 3 Ygra. I don't think sacking Goose to play Goose is worth. I think the extra food later could be good. God damn, they got so many bats. Alright, which one do you want? My guess is they'll take Ygra. Ygra is pretty scary next turn. It doesn't quite do anything yet, but it like gets really big very quickly, and they don't have much going on yet. Ooh, maybe a Troll Crumbs here instead. So we go Troll Crumbs, sack the food, make 2 mana. I like that, actually. Ygra, again, while it's doing stuff, it's not doing enough stuff. Alright, let's use the black mana. Take Overgrown Tomb. Let's go Goose. And then at the end of turn, we'll just Trail Crumbs again off the Goose. I guess we do it now because we just have a lot of things we can use for 1 mana. A lot of permanents for sure. like Scavenger's Talent, for example. Now, next turn, we're pretty close to being able to do what we did last game, where we get to level 2 or chapter 2 Scavenger's Talent, and then that lets us kind of pop off a little bit with this and the Ygra. Wonder if this is Thoughtseize. Haywire Might? Okay. Again, they're very interactive here, it seems, after sideboard, which means that they're much lighter on combo. Wildgrowth Walker kind of stinks, means that we're vulnerable. Alright, so we're going to take one. I don't know if we'll be able to kill this turn. I mean, it's only turn 4, and our deck has set up a bunch of cool permanents, but... Alright, so let's go... Goose has flying. Oh, I should have blocked. Good call. My bad. Adoy. Alright, we're going to no to this. We're going to play Ygra. And this is going to make all my stuff into food. So now I can sack. I can forage this. 2 counters on this. We'll go black-green. And then we'll go talent, crumbs. I kind of want to do talent, but I think crumbs is better. I have played a land, so we'll take Forger. And then now we go green for this. I think we say no. We just play Forger, and you go. If I die, I die, I guess. This is my turn 4, and I think I'm very likely to kill next turn, although I don't think it's deterministic. We just have Scavenger's Talent plus a lot of looks, and obviously they have Haywire Might, so they could use Haywire Might to exile the talent, so we can't do all that. But I do like the ability to use these to sack themselves or sack the other creatures. Usually win by combat or milling. I mean, you can win a bunch of different ways. We can win Scavenger Talent milling, Ygra with 2 Cauldron Familiars. Alright, so they're gonna blow up my board here. But I don't think that I'm dead. Let's see, I guess they can Reservoir me. So now they can sack Haywire Might, gain some life. Yeah, I'm kind of honestly sick of Amalia, if I'm being honest. I kind of just want to concede. But they're basically going to eat my talent, blow up my board. I don't want to play anymore. It's fine. Seems okay. Turn 2 Forger seems nice. I can play around Spell Pierce or Fire Impulse. I think I'm going to try to get this down now. So they had the Spell Pierce. That sucks. We have Fatal Push for Ledger Shredder, though, which is nice. This doesn't really matter if it dies either. Guess technically next turn, if they don't kill our Forger, we can go get a Squirrel. Mog no kick a can? Yeah. Did I mill the Reservoir? Did I? I mean, my whole board was destroyed, man. I don't know. It's just like not very fun to play at that point, and even if I can win, but they're at 100, I have nothing. My whole board's destroyed, and they still have a 2020. All right, so they milled over Phoenix. They start with an opt. See if they can get the Phoenix back. Impulse on the token. No lands. All right, well, we didn't draw anything. Say go, I guess. Like how Ygra has Hexroof in this matchup. I mean, it has Hexroof in a couple different matchups, basically. It's very similar to Vein Ripper. All right, well, GG's. 8 cards in hand. If they discard a Phoenix, I'm in a lot of trouble. Uh-oh. Drew another land. Love to see it. They only usually have 2 Spell Piercers, chat, and I think playing the Trail Crumbs there makes sense for a couple different reasons. Like, they're just so much more likely to have 1-mana removal for the Forager versus the answer for the Trail Crumbs. Like, obviously, it ended up where they had it. I think that a better argument is probably something like, I'm just going to concede. I don't think it's worth it to push one of these. That's insane. I don't really care about Ledger Shredder, so we're just going to cut the fatal pushes. Oh, I forgot about Giganta. I actually just forgot about him. I have so much to do with my mana every game. Just classic forgot about Giganta for 18 turns. I'll keep this hand. Pretty good. Very low to the ground, which I like. Witch's Oven's going to protect our stuff a good bit. Chat, you also have to understand this is just like the first draft of this deck, you know? And I'm sure it'll go through many iterations before we finally settle on something. But it seems like it has a very high power level, and it's like very hard to interact with. Because it's just so I don't want to say reliant on our artifacts and enchantments, but it just has so many artifacts and enchantments worth messing around with. I'm gonna Forager. If they don't kill this right now, I want to just like punish them with Ygra next turn. I guess I can't. I don't know why I thought I could. All right, so we have 4 mana. I don't really want to trigger the Ledger Shredder though, so let's just play a 3/2. I don't want to play the Cauldron Familiar because they can just get a free loot. Yeah, I also feel like it has a great foundation. So they found Consider Treasure Cruise. They took Consider. So they can Consider to trigger this. That is what they go for. Looted Arclight Phoenix, but they can't get it back this turn. But now we can play Ygra and Cauldron Familiar, and if we... Let's see. Let's go... I'll say go. Give me a nice swing turn. Yeah, Ygra is great here. Start with sleight of hand. I don't know why they tapped 2. Maybe they just misclicked. Discard another Phoenix. They can't kill the Ygra. I guess I sack this. They can't kill this with 1 spell. As far as I know. For 1 mana. Shredder's so good? Yeah, Shredder's incredible. Anyone who says that you should be playing something else, I think, is wrong. I know that there was some chatter recently about it with, oh, what you calls it? Thing in the Ice. A friend of mine won a RCQ with it, but... Alright, so now we don't have a good way to kill the Phoenix, but we can basically just force chump blocks every turn, and we can attack with everything else. So they're just going to block. So let's just attack with everybody. Alright, Goose is going to give us a blocker, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and... I guess buy Gigantha. Maybe I should hold up sacking some food tokens. They have a lot of pressure here. I think I'm just going to hold up sacking some food tokens. Six life sounds nice. Yeah, I think so too. The problem is they're just going to be able to infinitely block with Phoenix, so I just need to draw another Cauldron Familiar. And really what I needed was to just draw one of my other engine pieces. Like, I have 8 of the enchantment engine pieces that I could have played early. Alright, Torture Tower on the Goose. I think because I can go Oven, Sack, Familiar... Oh, I can... Oh, this costs 2 to tap sack. I guess it's better to just do this. Alright, so this is 14. I think we would have died. This Ygra is so big. I wonder if there's something we can play that, like, gives it evasion that's free or cheap. What do you actually think about this deck? I actually think this deck is really sweet. But I'm hesitant to say that it is good. Like, obviously, we are just, like, kind of losing to Phoenix, and we lost to Amalia already. And it's not like the stuff I'm doing... Let's see, I guess I can... Let's just say go. I got some stuff I can do with my mana. And we'll see how they want to attack before we see how much life we want to gain or whatever. But the problem is, without a way to bust through this, we just have to combo kill them, which means we would need to draw one of our talents. Not drawing the talent's a big deal. Playing 4 talent, I think, is a must. Yeah, I thought so too, Zeldom, after the fact. Just because I missed a life. Because it already gets a food token when it dies. I would have been short a food token, but I would have been plus a life, so maybe not. I'm not sure. I've got deck tech from Nick. Ooh, little Mardu tokens. Crackling Drake. Okay, alright. Alright, so they're not bringing back Phoenix. Let's see how they attack. So we can sack the familiar to itself and then bring it back. I think maybe we need like a Blood Artist type effect too, but maybe not. Some sort of thing to give this evasion, some sort of thing to... I don't know. Is there a... maybe there's a squirrel that's kind of cracked? This is only for 9, so we can just let this happen. And I can leave the Cauldron Familiar to the graveyard, but I think it being in play is better because I can sack it. But this is all irrelevant because I don't have a way to bust through this because I set out Fatal Push. Shell Crumbs, okay. Alright, well, we can maybe kill here. If we find another Cauldron Familiar, we can win. Another talent. Talent lets me mill a bunch. Let's try it. Alright, we can kill here. If we find another Cauldron Familiar. This is, honestly, it's so sick. I was just so down about this game, and now I can just kill them, so. Like Merriment gave lifelink tokens? Are you talking about your deck right now? I need to not talk about your deck right now until I'm doing the deck tech. Give me a minute. I think opponent is reading Scavenger's talents to see how they're about to die. Got Rogue's Passage. If we had some way to fetch it, maybe. I don't think that's a bad idea. I've definitely played Rogue's Passage before. It's a very weird one, but... like, are there any of the creature lands that give trample by chance? Like, the ones from the new set? Like, does the green one give trample to squirrels or cats or something? Elemental cats? Is Cord playable? I think if you're playing Witch's Oven, Trail Crumbs, and Scavenger's Talent, the answer is no. Well, the green puts counters on creatures enter that turn. Does the black one give like a shadow or something, some sort of evasion? Not shadow, but you get it. All right, so we can tap this for a green. Oh, I should have tapped this for a green way earlier. I've made a mistake. Have I played a land this turn? Cast Trail Crumbs. Okay, I don't think I've played a land yet, so I can still technically use Trail Crumbs one time to maybe find a black source and... No, that doesn't work. Okay, so we can... Let's start by sacrificing a food token to make... I guess we want black-green because we have this Vine Reap Mentor. And I'll go target self. And then I think the Vine Reap Mentor just gives me... It gives me, what, 3 food for Cauldron Familiar to find another Cauldron Familiar. So that's fine. I think the answer is no. Mill 2. Let's see if we had another Familiar. We didn't yet. So now we go this Vine Reap Mentor. And now we go Cauldron Familiar. Sack food. Mill 2. Turn off auto yields. Alright, so we found another one. Perfect. Alright, so this should be game. We had a lot of looks, though. We had a lot of looks at it, and you can see how just drawing trail crumbs this turn allowed us to kill, right? Let's just mill them. They only have 20 cards left. Might actually just be faster to mill them. Awesome. Still don't think I want Fatal Push or Pick Your Poison. Probably want some anti-graveyard stuff. Maybe this is the Leyline of the Void sideboard. Phoenix opponent's like, wow, bringing back creatures for free is unfair. True. You'd be like that. I can't believe I won that game. Was not expecting to. Was expecting to be sad. Classic Duress L. I hope that their hand is just like 3 Ledger Shredders, so this Duress is just like, this is why it's not... this is why it's... should be Thoughtseize. Bluff. Alright. I'm gonna play around Spell Pierce now because I just don't need to have this be active for a while. I'm gonna go for Cauldron Familiar. If they want to exile that, I don't really mind that much. We don't have a way to do anything with it yet. I think there's just like something they can check everything, right? This dies to Fire Impulse, this dies to Torch the Tower, this dies to Spell Pierce. Alright, so now we'll go Duress just to see what's up. If they have Spell Pierce, they'll definitely Spell Pierce this. Then we'll just play Talent. Couple Considers. We'll take one. So they're gonna pick lock here, so let's go for a Talent. They hit Consider or Sleight of Hand? No, only Sleight of Hand. Okay, so they have Sleight of Hand, Consider, Steam Vents, Arclight. Now that we have Talent in play, though, like, it didn't get countered, so I feel very comfortable with how the rest of the game will play out. Alright, so they main phase Sleight of Hand, main phase Consider. They hit nothing. They have Phoenix in hand. Rotting. Alright, let's go Forager Goose. And once we start getting the mill up, then the Chapter 3 can maybe get back a Ygra from the graveyard, which I haven't done yet, but I think it's pretty sweet. Crackling Drake is a pretty big thing. I'm a little scared of it. Wow, that's a really good draw, too. Alright, so let's go green, sack this. Mill 2 for me. We found the Ygra. Okay, so now we don't do this. And so we go add 2. And then we mill self. We make black, black. Oh. Chapter 3. And we'll leave the Talon and we'll sack everything else. Choose a card. Ygra. We'll mill self for 8. And if we hit another Cauldron Familiar, we should be able to kill them next turn. And if they want to do something about the Ygra, they have to sack their Crackling Drake iteration. So they're going to kill the Ygra, probably. Does Ward only work on the first target? I don't think this is going to work. Can't kill Ygra? That's what I thought. So maybe they're doing this just to try to get... Okay. Maybe they're just growing the Crackling Drake? Or they either made a mistake or the Crackling Drake is awkward. Either way. Alright, so let's go Cauldron Familiar. So it's... I can Boseiju myself. It doesn't mill 2, but it... One more creatures. Okay, so Boseiju doesn't quite do much here. Let's see, but we can sack a food, and if we mill over... If we mill over a Cauldron Familiar, we win. We didn't find it. We can Boseiju their stuff for 1. Yeah, we can't Boseiju self, but we could play Boseiju and sack a land, but it's not technically sacking, I don't think. I don't think it's technically sacking, and we can't pay 2 and sack this. But we can Boseiju this. So let's just plan on doing that. And we'll just kill in the old-fashioned way. Oh, you can't sack the talent. That's good to know. I wasn't sure, but you can't sack talent. Boseiju's great in this deck. It is very good with Ygra, for sure. Alright, so they found Treasure Cruise, so they're going to get to do some pretty nutty stuff, but they're not close to killing me, and I have Boseiju for the Crackling Drake as well, even if they were close to killing me. Yeah, when I was a kid though, when they explained the legend rules and stuff, it was always would always say sacrifice, but I don't think it's technically sacrificing. Also, sorry the deck tech's taking so long, Nick. We'll do it after this game's over. Long match. Alright, see if they attack. I think I just take 8 because I can kill a blocker and maybe just kill them with Ygra. And I think taking 8 here is okay. I can also, if they have a kill spell for Ygra, I can also kill the thing in response, like similarly to how we would stop Vein Ripper from getting killed. Alright, we can still kill if we hit Cauldron Familiar, because we get a food off of Chapter 1 of the Scavenger's Talent. Alright, so they're going to go for Ether Gust. And in response, we will kill Crackling Drake with Boseiju, and then that should be lethal. And the reason we waited was because of exactly that. We wanted to make sure that they didn't have an easy way to stop the Ygra, and the ward ability protects it when I can kill their thing. And now it's just big enough where it can attack, so we don't even need the second familiar. All right, chat, we're here for the final match of today's league. with Golgari Ygra. Opening hand looks okay. We'll keep. We're on the play. Or on the draw. Excuse me. But we got a nice little curve. Would Deadly Dispute be a good option? Any deck that's wanting to play a bunch of random permanents, Deadly Dispute's always going to be pretty good in those decks. If you play it, you obviously want to play things like Fatal Push, which you already are. And so, like, you know, there's certainly something to be said about Deadly Dispute in your deck. But I don't know if you just have a good enough payoff. You know, I don't think the new enchantment is a good enough payoff, so it's tough. Okay, so blue-black. Maybe this is the Vein Ripper blue-black control deck from like a week or two ago. I'm gonna go Forager. We can go Vine Reap plus make mana next turn and like really do stuff. Do serious stuff. If this gets countered, it's also not that big a deal. I am very scared of Vein Ripper, especially in game 1. Maybe we should be playing something that kills creatures by sacking, like Annihilating Glare, I think is what it's called, but there's like a 1-black sorcery sack I think it's an artifact or a creature to either destroy or exile an opposing artifact, creature, planeswalker, or something like that. Something like that. There's plenty of cards that do something like that, and we may want something like that in order to help out against Vein Ripper. Yeah, I mean, turn 3 Ripper just kills everybody though, so it's not like it's a vulnerability. It's just Vein Ripper is just extremely good, and it makes our deck stop working. All right, let's go Mentor and see if they counter this. I guess in this instance, I should have played a land first. Why not just play Bitter Triumph for the feed cycle? I mean, you certainly can. I'm just talking about options. I don't really know what I want to do. All right, I'm going to. I really don't know what's going on over there, so I'm just going to buy Gigantha. I'm like kind of afraid of Tidebinder here. As weird as that sounds, but I also just don't care if this is in the graveyard, so I think I'm just going to attack. Next turn, we can just play one of our big things. Sure. So I guess they're probably about to Extinction Event me. That's a huge bummer. I don't know why they would kill that with a Fatal Push, unless they were... Alright, I'm going to play Gigantha. Well, there's one that lets you sack a creature or artifact, I think, Tonber, and that's the one that I want to play. Alright, so Blot Out makes some sense. Alright, that's fine. Now we'll play Ygra when the shields are down. It's going to be very hard for them to beat. Another Extinction Event. Luckily, we have another Ygra. Jaeger. Buddy. So they don't have yet another way to exile this Ygra. They've already played 3 things that say exile Ygra. Anything that's good against Vein Ripper is going to be good against Ygra, though, which is a bit awkward. Alright, let's go Mentor. Talent. Negate on the talent. Sure. Jaeger, dude. Come on. So I think we actually have a surprise. Jaeger! Brother! We can just force a chump block with the Hive. Jaeger. He's just trying to get on my keyboard. Just sit right there. Just sit right there. It's okay. Alright, so if we Deadly Dispute the Vine Reap Mentor, that puts 2 counters on the Ygra, gives us a treasure, we can play Goose. Goose gives us a 3rd food. And then this only works when you sack... Okay, I don't think we have lethal here. Is my cat named Aaron Ygra? Yes, his name is Aaron Ygra. Big raid from the Swish Gaming! Oh, thank you so much. I don't think we have 4 food to sack. I can only count 1, 2, 3 food to sack. But I will go ahead and sack this after no blocks. And with Cauldron Familiar specifically, it actually might be enough. Because the creatures themselves count. Spell Pierce is fine. Alright, so it's 10, and so this sacking here. And then this will get a food. I need to turn off auto yields. I gotta be very careful with my auto yields. Nice. So we did have lethal there. Alright, Duress comes in for sure. Scavenger's Talent for sure. And then we'll cut the 4 Fatal Push and probably a mana creature. Hey, you better watch your dang mouth out there, Tomber. Yeah, what's up, Cam? How's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Okay, so they have Blood Out Extinction Event main deck. So I think that they're just traditional blue-black, and they're not Vein Rippering. What we have today, a really cool deck featuring a brand new card, Cam. Ygra, Eater Vol. 5 cost 6/6, a million abilities. No drawbacks. Works very well in sacrifice decks. If you have a Cauldron Familiar in the graveyard and Cauldron Familiar in play, you can bounce them back and forth infinitely. There's also this new class card, like Ranger class. They call them talents, though. This is Scavenger's Talent. It's very, very good. All right, Ygra. I'm sorry, buddy. Got to get down. I tried. You could have been happy up here. Could have been happy. So many ways to kill. Yeah, I mean, if you let the Ygra untap, it's very, very bad for most opponents. All right, this hand's great. We'll keep 2 Cauldron Familiars, Witch's Oven, Crumb. We'll hope they don't have Spell Pierce, and I think we'll turn 1 Witch's Oven. Thoughtseize. So they're probably going to take Oven, but then we go Trail Crumbs on 2. Hope that resolves. Tandy, what about Onicole Anvil with some cheap artifact token makers? See, that sounds great, but that's like a whole different deck. And if you bring back like a... Oh my god. So I do have ways to kill this. If they end up being the Vein Ripper build, then... Oh, they're Yorion. Oh my god. Okay. So we have some problems here. But we can just do some Cauldron Familiar beatdowns, I guess. I don't know. Them having the discard spell into Needle is rough. But we have 2 Besages we can draw. And if they show me some more artifacts, enchantments, or flyers, I'll probably bring in a couple Pick Your Poison just to help out. Alright, drawing a few too many lands here. Oh, well, Cam, I think this one is intentional, and I think it's pretty good. Alright, well, that sucks. We got Extinction Evented. Our opponent has had some nice foils for our stuff. And I'm sure they have a counterspell for this Ygra as well. We'll want to draw like some Duresses maybe soon. Alright, I'm going to play the Ygra because I think we just got to do a Hail Mary and hope that they don't have counterspell. Waiting just gives them more time to find it. If they're going to deluge this turn, now they can't. Not really that big a deal if it gets countered. Censor is just like insulting, but any counterspell there is basically the same. We could have played Vine Reap Mentor, but there was like nothing that's happened so far that led me to believe that we should be worried about Censor. Huh. Yeah, but are you going to be mad about Spiritmonger breaking Power Creep or whatever? This card is very weird, but all right, let's give him the mediocre beatdown, chat. Familiar, excellent draw. It would be if the oven wasn't locked down. At this point, it's just a threat, but it's a weak threat. I'm mostly just curious how they kill me because they've been playing only counterspells removal so far. I will go ahead and play the other Witch's Oven just in case they, in case I draw Beseiju to deal with the needle. Oh yeah, I forgot about old Jeff again. Forgot about old Jeff again. Thank you for reminding me. This is multiple times I forgot about Gigantha, and I definitely forgot about it this game. I could have bought it on 3, I think. Let's see if they go for Deluge here or nothing. If they have nothing, I'm super happy. If they Deluge, I'm probably dead. Yeah, but Hall of the Storm Giants is like a finisher, but it's not like a great finisher. Oh, they definitely should have copied it. Oh no, they needed one more mana to copy Pith and Needle. Alright, so they're just going to draw 2, discard 1. That's great news for me. If I had played something into counter draw 2, discard 1, that's also something I think I would have probably lost because of it. Discard Spell Pierce? Sure. Sure. Yield until next end step. Dossie's Jeff, sure. They're at 7, chat. Beseiju is actually secretly cracked here. They buy Yorion. Beseiju. We're gonna go get some squirrels. We're gonna just Binary Mentor over and over again. Alright, yeah, you can hang out, but you gotta chill. Chill, daddy. Alright, so they make a 4/5 flyer. They got 2 cards in hand after their land. I guess I'll just go get another one in case they draw spot removal. I'll go ahead and play it. I could get the other one, but I think that this one is fine. I guess I could also attack. I should be attacking so that I can use the food tokens to just bring back Cat to do damage. Missing the attack there was a mistake, for sure. Alright, another extinction event. So it's basically just a 1-for-1 trade, though, on my squirrels. Alright, this is a bold attack. Maybe they just have Cauldron Familiar rolled up somehow. Two cards in hand. These are both on black. Interesting. So there are 4. And now with the multiple food tokens in play, I can just attack, and then if they block, I can bring it back. So they might have trouble just like dealing with these last 2 Cauldron Familiars. Is it possible Needle Cauldron Familiar? I don't know. I think yes, and I think it will work, but I'm not a high level judge, so I'm not positive. Probably Shark Typhoon coming here. Let's start with cancel. Let's cancel because we can sack a Cauldron Familiar. Let's attack first because if he never leaves. He'll come back immediately, but this is going to put them to at least 3 if they have 1 removal. And then the Deadly Dispute sack puts them to 2. This is fine. I probably should have sacked it in response, but I can do that now, and I don't want it to be able to get exiled. Ygra! Yeah, but it's an activated ability that works from the graveyard, and I know that you can Pith and Needle cycling cards, or you used to be able to do that. Ygra! Maybe I shouldn't have played anything. God, imagine how over this game would have been way earlier if they just didn't have Needle. I guess they could have taken Oven with a discard, though. So they're dead on board. They're not dead if they have a removal spell, but they're currently dead on board. I will try to sack the one that got blocked. Ygra! That's fine. Now, if we get anything that makes a food... So, I am going to go ahead and play Ygra. They have one card in hand, and it has to be a counterspell, or they die. So, Familiar comes back, sack food. GG. Okay, so 4-1. 4-1 with what I think is a pretty sweet and brand new deck that is in its extremely early stages of development. Scavenger's Talent, I think, is a very easy 4 of in the main deck. The card was far exceeded my expectations. When I began the league, I thought I kind of knew what it did, and the more I played with the games with it, the more I realized that it was a functional part of the combo in terms of self-milling. There are 7 cards in the deck that I think can be any cards in the whole realm of Magic the Gathering. Binary Mentor and Thornvault Forager. I think both potentially able to be changed for something else. With that said, I did use Thornvault Forager multiple times to like ramp out into Ygra. And when my opponent didn't kill it, it was pretty good. You know, Binary Mentor making multiple pieces of nice. Thanks for the 100 bits. Thunder, appreciate you. They can sack Yorn for 3 life. Oh, they must have missed it. I also have infinite, right? It's just infinite back and forth. So Binary Mentor is kind of like a Thraben Inspector, right? But if Thraben Inspector costs 2, I think it would be significantly worse. And in this deck, attacking doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, we're not really winning many games by just, like, chip damage. We do it with Cold Familiar Pings, so maybe I'm wrong on that. But one thing I do want to maybe look into is maybe playing Mardu Sack. Or not Mardu, Gem Sack. Mayhem Devil is like a slam dunk in this style of deck. And I think that it works really nicely with Scavenger's Talent and a number of other cards that can, fuel it. Mostly, I just think we just need another 2 or 3 drop that's kind of cracked. And I think if we go if we just cut Vine Reap and Thornvault Forager for Fable and Mayhem Devil, and we change the mana base, I think that this deck might end up being extremely good. But after just 1 league, we went 4-1. The deck worked fluidly. I did combo kill multiple times from spots where I wasn't sure if I could or not, but I did have a lot of looks at it. And Scavenger's Talent being the reason I had a lot of looks because of the self-mill aspect. Gilded Goose's mana generation, Thornvault Forager's mana generation were both solid. Being able to sack the food to pump Ygra or to activate Troll of Crumbs felt very nice. And honestly, it's essentially it's just this package of cards for green outside of Ygra. And so it's possible that we should be instead doing Rakdos Sack splashing Ygra so that we have an infinite combo kill. But I think that version is much worse with Scavenger's Talent, whereas this version I think is very good with Scavenger's Talent because we can utilize the food much more easily with Gilded Goose and Forager and Trail of Crumbs. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I think this deck is very close to being good. I am not adept at tuning decks like this. I can try some stuff and see what sticks, but I am not an expert when it comes to the Witch's Oven Cauldron Familiar stuff, as you have seen in this video. I want to say thank you to today's sponsors. Paradise Games and Gifts is a game store out of Fairfax, Virginia, specializing in trading card games. They're formerly known as Games and Comics Paradise, and you can check out their website at gcparadise.com and buy some singles for your next event. They have great prices. And if you're in the Fairfax area, I highly recommend checking out their local game store. It is a nice little piece of property. Thank you so much to Moxfield. Moxfield is a nice deck building website that you can use to share deck lists with your friends. I use Moxfield for all my decks, so if you want to check out Moxfield to see what I'm playing, you can click the link in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can hit ! deck or deck list in chat. It'll give you a handy link to my Moxfield page. Lastly, I'm sponsored by Apex Gaming. Apex is a game store out of Caldwell, Ohio, and they run the Apex series. And the Apex series is a year-long string of events at their home store in Caldwell, where we culminate in an invitational where we give away $20,000 in cash and lots of other prizes as well. Ross Mayer and myself will be doing commentary over an event coming up really soon in the August 16th weekend. If you're in the area, make sure to head on out to Caldwell, Ohio, and join our Apex Gaming events. Next one coming up is Team Modern. I write strategy content. I produce Magic content for a living. My name is Tandy, and you can check me out on Patreon, patreon.com/Tandy, for sideboard guides, new deck lists, thoughts on formats. I also offer coaching. You can contact me in any number of ways, Twitter, DMs on many places, but Patreon is the easiest way to get coaching. So if you're interested in leveling up your game, you can join my Patreon and message me directly for coaching, and we can set that up. I have 3 students right now that are weekly, and I'm looking to do at least one more so that I can kind of move into more full-time coaching. That's something that interests you, make sure to contact me. That's all for me today, chat. Thank you so much for hanging out.